Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Stapakaya Cha Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Stapakaya Cha Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namaha Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We are studying Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, the topic Spiritual Treasures of Sri Ramakrishna. Since last two classes we have discussed some of the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna, and today also I am continuing most wonderful spiritual treasures of Sri Ramakrishna. The whole Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna is full of spiritual instructions for us to go into spiritual path. So it all depends upon what life we choose. Here is worldly life, glamorous, dragging you more and more, involving you immensely, making you extremely active, and so on and so forth. But this type of life which mostly people live in this world will not lead them in any manner to the spiritual path. On the other hand, the worldly life is a block. It is blocking the way of spiritual life. The whole purpose of religion is to get rid of this worldliness. Even though we are all in this world, we need not be worldly. That's a very sublime teaching. It requires very clear thinking and strong determination to go in spiritual path, to get freedom from bondage, freedom from misery and sorrows, freedom from sufferings. If a person has to really experience the unalloyed, purest form of happiness, it is only through spiritual path and spiritual life. That only means that though we are in the world, we are asked to conduct our life in such a way that it will take us towards the reality rather than the unreal things. So Sri Ramakrishna has given a profound teaching regarding the way of life that people should conduct themselves in this world. We are all in this world, so we have to perform action. But what way we do act ourselves, that determines our way of thinking and our way of achievement. So Sri Ramakrishna says in very clear terms that do all your duties. There is no question about it. Everyone who is born in this world is bound by duties. All the scriptures very emphatically say that one should perform one's duty. But what is very important is that amidst all performing the duties, your mind must be definitely fixed on God. Of course, the whole spirituality depends upon the first fundamental thing, that is, you must accept the presence of God. Without that, no spirituality, no awakening. So Sri Ramakrishna says, do all your duties but keep your mind on God. Live with all, with wife and children, with father and mother. Live with them and serve them. Serve them. Treat them as if they were very dear to you. But know in your heart of hearts that they really do not belong to you. That means you are doing your duty in order to realize the truth. Sri Ramakrishna said to the sub-judge, pray to God in secret and with yearning, that you may have that passionate attachment and devotion to God. Shed tears for Him. A man sheds a jar full of tears because his wife is sick, or because he's losing money, or because he's worrying about getting a job. And Sri Ramakrishna tells further, tell me, whoever weeps for God with the same intensity as they do in the worldly matters. Then Trailokya immediately asked the question, sir, where is people's leisure? They must serve their English masters. That means people have to go for jobs and they have to do work. Where is leisure? Sri Ramakrishna answered, well, if that is the case, if you really feel that you have no leisure at all, even then there is a way. And that way, Sri Ramakrishna has said, is to give God the power of attorney. If a man entrusts his affairs to a good person, will the latter do him any harm? With all the sincerity of your heart, resign yourself to God and drive all your worries out of your mind. If you are worrying, that means your resignation to God is not proper, is not properly done. Do whatever duties He has assigned to you. Sri Ramakrishna gives the example of kitten. The kitten doesn't have a calculating mind. It only cries, mew, mew, mew. It lies in the kitchen contentedly. If the mother cat leaves it there, and only calls the mother crying, mew, mew, mew. It has the same feeling of contentment when the mother cat puts it on the soft bed of the master of the house. It only cries for its mother, nothing but mother. Then sub-judge asks the question, Sir, we are householders. How long should we perform our worldly duties? Sri Ramakrishna replied, Surely you have duties to perform. You must bring up your children. You must support your wife. You must provide for her in case of your death. If you don't, then I shall call you unkind. Sages like Shukadeva had compassion. He who has no compassion is no man. Then the sub-judge asked further, Sir, how long should one support one's children? Master said, as long as they have not reached their majority. When the chick becomes a full-grown bird and can look after itself, then the mother bird pecks it and doesn't allow it to come near her. Then the sub-judge asked another question. What is a householder's duty to his wife? Sri Ramakrishna answered, he should give her spiritual advice and support her during your lifetime and provide for her livelihood after your death, if she is a chaste wife. But if you are intoxicated with the knowledge of God, then you have no more duties to perform. Then God Himself will think about your morrow if you yourself cannot do so. God Himself will think about your family if you are intoxicated with Him. If a landlord dies leaving behind a minor son, then a guardian appointed by the court takes charge of the son. These are all points of law. You know them. Sub-judge said, Yes, sir. Sri Ramakrishna said, one can meditate even with eyes open. One can meditate even while talking. Then Sri Ramakrishna gives the example. Take the case of a man with toothache. Tutor of the Tagores. He said, Yes, sir, I know that very well. All laughed. Master said smilingly, Yes, even when his teeth ache, he does all his duties, but his mind is on the pain. Likewise, one can meditate with eyes open and while talking to others as well. So that is about the teaching of Sri Ramakrishna. Do all your duties, but keep your mind on God. Very important. With the mind fixed on God, all your duties lead towards the realization of the truth. If you don't fix your mind on God, then you become worse than before. Before you were worldly, now you become more worldly. In the name of duties, person becomes utterly selfish, greedy, and all such negative qualities he develops. The next teaching is also very important one. The camel loves to eat thorny bushes. The more it eats the thorns, the more the blood gushes forth from its mouth. Still, it must eat thorny plants and will never give them up. The man of worldly nature suffers so much sorrow and affliction, but he forgets it all in a few days and begins his old life over again. The Master said regarding this teaching, he gives the example of fish. Most of the fish are trapped. When the fisherman throws the fishing rod, he knows how to catch them, trap them with a bait. So he throws out a net. He does everything that is required to trap the fishes. The fishes are trapped. But they are not conscious of the net and of their imminent death. No sooner are they entangled than they run headlong, net and all, trying to hide themselves in the mud. Not trying to escape, trying to hide themselves. They don't make the least effort to get free. On the contrary, they go deeper and deeper into the mud. These fish are like the bound men. They are all still inside the net, but they think they are quite safe there. The world is a net. We are all fishes in this net, thinking, oh, we are quite safe. Nice bungalow we have got, nice car, all comforts, cell phone, everything we have got. We are quite safe. Bank account is there, nothing to worry. That means the bound creature is immersed in worldliness. The worldliness is described by Sri Ramakrishna in a very strong phrase. It is lust and gold, lust and gold. One American lady used to come to Ramakrishna Mission Institute of Culture, Calcutta, where I was staying before coming to America. Whenever she comes, she would stay in our Institute of Culture. A very good, devoted lady, and she would not go anywhere other than Belur. So many times she has come. She has not gone to any other place in India. Her only focus is to go to Belur and stay for a few days. Once she came and talked with me. In fact, on the eve of my leaving for America, she came and said, Swamiji, please have this. You require this in your travel. I opened it and found she had given about $50. I was amazed at her devotion. American lady. See her kind heart and the way how she looks at it. And she said, it is her own statement, Swamiji, what is there in America? Sex and money. That's all. Sex and money. People are crushing towards this. They are crushed by this. So she said she's disgusted with that way of life. She's disgusted totally. So she comes to visit India in order to get refreshment, to tune herself into spiritual path. So we all believe in this bound world that we are quite safe and happy, secure. What kind of security it is? Anyway, the bound creatures entangled in worldliness will not come to their senses at all. They suffer so much misery, so much agony. They face so many dangers, and yet they will not wake up. That's the tragic part. The man of worldly nature suffers so much sorrow and affliction. But he forgets it all in a few days and begins his old life over again. Suppose a man has lost his wife or she has turned unfaithful. No, he marries again. He doesn't learn a lesson. On the other hand, he becomes more worldly than before. Or take the instance of a mother. Her son dies and she suffers bitter grief, but after a few days she forgets all about it. The mother, so overwhelmed with sorrow a few days before, now attends to her toilet and puts on her jewelry. A father becomes bankrupt through the marriage of his daughters, yet he goes on having children year after year. People are ruined by litigation, yet they go to court all the same. There are men who cannot feed the children they have, who cannot clothe them or provide decent shelter for them, yet they have more children every year. Again, the worldly man is like a snake trying to swallow a mole. The snake can neither swallow the mole nor give it up. The bound soul may have realized that there is no substance to the world, that the world is like a hog plum, only stone and skin, but still he cannot give it up and turn his mind to God. I once met a relative of Keshav Sen. Sri Ramakrishna says that relative was 50 years old. What was he doing? He was playing cards, as if the time had not yet come for him to think of God. There is another characteristic of the bound soul. If you remove him from his worldly surroundings to a spiritual environment, he will pine away. The worm that grows in filth feels very happy there. It thrives in filth. It will die if you put it in a pot of rice. So, we are all behaving like camel. Without getting awakened, without proper thinking and using our discriminating faculty, we will not be able to enjoy the glory of spiritual life. Then Sri Ramakrishna teaches another important point. Our all activities and our play in this world depend upon our mind. We dance, literally we dance to the tune of the mind. Mind has become the master. The so-called master of the mind has become a slave. That is the effect of being utterly worldly. The mind is like milk. If you keep the mind in the world, which is like water, then the milk will get mixed. That is why people keep milk in a quiet place and let it set into curd and then churn butter from it. Likewise, through spiritual discipline, practiced in solitude, churn the butter of knowledge and devotion from the milk of the mind. Then that butter can easily be kept in the water of the world. It will not get mixed with the world. The mind will float, detached on the water of the world. You are no more deceived by the glamours of the world. And that is the point, indication of real awakening coming to a person. So he should make use of that opportunity and divert himself towards spiritual life. Spiritual life does not mean running away from the world, but how you live in the world spiritually. That's the point. God has put you in the world. What can you do about it? You have no choice there. You are dropped here. You have to act upon. Resign everything to Him. Surrender yourself at His feet. Then there will be no more confusion. Then you will realize that it is God who does everything. When you practice discipline in solitude, keep yourself entirely away from your family. At least for the time being, you should not allow any of your relations or anybody to come near you. While thus practicing discipline in solitude, you should think, I have no one else in the world. God is my all. You must also pray to Him with tears in your eyes for knowledge and devotion. After birth of one or two children, the husband and wife should live as brother and sister and talk only of God. Then both their minds will be drawn towards God, and the wife will be a help to the husband on the path of spirituality. There's a big difference between a scholar and a holy man. The mind of a mere scholar is fixed on lust and gold, but the sadhu's soul is on the lotus feet of Hari. A landlord may be very rich, but when a poor tenant brings a humble present to him with a loving heart, he accepts it with the greatest pleasure. So, the Almighty God, though so great and powerful, accepts the humble offerings of a sincere heart with the greatest pleasure and satisfaction. We have got a lot of instances to prove this. There's a famous episode in Srimad Bhagavatam where the great devotee Sudama, his name is also called as Kuchela, he was utterly poor. Added to that, he had many children. Wife was totally worldly, but the husband, Sudama, was opposite. He was totally spiritual. He was so much devoted to God. He could not feel anything other than the experience of God. One day, the wife became so angry and upset. She pulled him and asked him, "What are you doing? Don't you see? We are starving here. We are not able to bring food, proper food for nourishment for our children. How to live like this?" She also knew that this Sudama was a great devotee of Lord Krishna. So she immediately asked him, "Why not you go to Krishna and ask for some help to remove some of our wants? Please go." She actually forced him to visit Sri Krishna in Dwarka. Sudama was feeling immensely happy inside his heart. Now he has got the opportunity to see the Lord of the universe. But then, should I have to go bare hand? Should I not take something to offer to Sri Krishna? Then the wife prepared some flattened rice. Some preparation she did, like upma. She gave it to him, and he tied those flattened rice in a corner of his cloth and came to see Krishna. It's a very famous episode. Please read that in Bhagavatam. It's an excellent episode. So when he was coming, about to enter into the court where Lord Krishna is sitting with his wife Rukmini, immediately Lord Krishna says, "Look, now you will see a great devotee will be coming." He is telling Rukmini, the goddess of Lakshmi, he is telling her, "Serve him. Give him oil bath. Serve him nicely." She was stunned. Why Lord Krishna is so much pleased about him. When he was there, when they were just talking like this, Sudama entered into court. He made pranams. Actually, the wife had told Sudama, "Please ask Krishna to help them to remove some of their wants, etc." He said he would ask Krishna. With that intention only he came. But when he saw Krishna, he forgot about all other things, shedding tears of joy, forgetting himself in the presence of Krishna. And Krishna himself had to ask him, "Sudam, you have come all the way from your place. Have you brought something to me?" He reminds him, "Have you brought something to me?" Immediately, yes. Then he gave that. He was very hesitant to give that flattened rice, It is not such big gift, It is a very most ordinary gift. But anyway, Lord Krishna himself is asking. He took it, and Lord Krishna blessed him with all prosperity. In this process, what happened was Sudama totally forgot to ask Krishna to help his family, to remove his wants, etc. Nothing he remained. When everything done, he got very good hospitality. Afterwards, he returned back home. When he was returning home, about half a distance he was covered. Then he suddenly remembered, what? My wife told me to ask Krishna to remove wants in my home. I didn't ask at all. Probably my wife will scold me. He was becoming frightened to face the wife. How can I face her anymore? And he can't go back also, because half the distance is already covered. Anyway, internally he was praying to Krishna to forgive him and to protect him. So when he reached the home, he could not recognize his home. In the place of cottage, there is a fine bungalow. And the children and the wife, they are all cheerful. He could not believe. All prosperity has come to them. Lord Krishna's blessings. So, that's the way. If a devotee offers sincerely, God receives it with great pleasure and satisfaction. If God is pleased, you are completely freed from all difficult situations and worries in life. And God has His own way of judgment. Who is the greatest devotee? There are so many types of devotees. It is true also. Anybody calling the name of God is called a devotee. True. But there are grades. And there is a great story about the sage Narad, who was really a true devotee of Lord Vishnu. All day he sang Lord Vishnu's bhajans, narrated people of God's greatness. He was really very good, very great. But sometimes in a corner of the mind, some trace of weakness will be there. Sometimes it erupts like weeds. In a subtle way, he became proud of his devotion and love for God. And he began to think that there was no greater devotee of the Lord than himself. When that thought crept in his mind, Lord Vishnu came to know what is happening to this devotee. So he took the responsibility of correcting him. So Lord Vishnu thought the pride is not good for him. It should be curbed. So he called him and pointed down to the earth and said, Narad, do you see there? He showed a particular place. There is a farmer. Lord Vishnu told him, he is one of my greatest devotees. Why don't you go and meet him? For he is truly devoted to me. He is an excellent devotee. Poor Narad, his heart was broken. He was thinking he was the greatest devotee of Lord. And Lord Vishnu points out that it is this ordinary farmer who is his greatest bhakta. most ordinary farmer, agriculturist. And Narad became curious also. So he went to the place as directed by Lord Vishnu, and he began to watch his daily routine, what that man was doing whole day. He watched him that the man rose early in the morning. The first thing he did was he uttered the name of Lord only once, just one time. Then he would go to the fields with his plough and work hard in the sun the whole day. Then he came back all tired and sweating in the evening, totally exhausted. When the moon and stars were out, he ate his meal, and then he would take the Lord's name once more before going to sleep. That means he has uttered only 2 times, morning, early morning once, and before going to bed once. 2 times in a day, whole day. Narad was surprised. What? I think of God constantly and keep chanting his holy name Narayan, Narayan the whole day long. And here is the farmer who says Hari just twice a day. And Lord Vishnu says he is the greatest bhakta. How is this possible? So he could not really find out what made this agriculturist the greatest bhakta. So with these thoughts he went to the Lord Vishnu. When he came, the Lord Vishnu smiled. He did not speak anything about that, but told him, Narad, take this pot full of oil, full to the brim, balance it on your head, and walk around in the city, and then come back. But there is one condition. See to it that you don't spill even a single drop. Do it. So Narad placed the pot of oil on his head and started to walk very carefully, trying to keep his steps in one line, trying not to move his head too much, not looking anywhere but just right in front of him. And all the time he kept worrying about the drop of oil that might fall. So with so much care and attention, he returned in the evening after making round. Lord Vishnu complimented him on his achievement and then asked him, Narad, tell me now, while you were busy carrying the pot on your head, what were you thinking of? Narad told Lord Vishnu that all the while that he had the pot on his head, he was worried about not spilling the oil. Then came the big question from Lord Vishnu. While worrying about what was on your head, how many times did you think of me and take my name, Narad? Please tell me. Oh Lord, not even once. How could I? I was too busy concentrating so that I don't spill the oil. Lord Vishnu sat down and smiled and said, well, see Narad, I gave you one little task and so busy did you get with it that you completely forgot me. Not even once did you think of me. And look at that ordinary farmer who has the heavy burden of taking care of the entire family and all its needs, but he still finds time to think of me, if it is twice a day. Even if it is twice a day, he is thinking of me. So tell me, who is the greatest devotee of you both? Narad was embarrassed at his pride and understood the lesson Lord Vishnu wanted to teach him. He taught him that despite busy lives, remembering God every day with a loving heart was enough. To remember God, this story tells us that for God, it doesn't matter how many times we think of Him, but how we think of Him. You must have heard the term that quality is better than quantity. What do you think this means? It means that what He would like all of us to do is that despite our busy lives and schedules, make a little bit of time for just Him. What matters to Him is that in our busy lives we don't forget Him. So, even if we think of Him only twice a day like the farmer, but we do so with all our concentration and love, that's enough for Him. So let us try to develop love and devotion this way. It's hard, no doubt, but by practicing it becomes easy. That's the way to cut across this rock-like worldliness. The whole purpose of religion is to break through this worldliness. Let us try to follow these instructions. Become more and more spiritual. Become more and more less egoistic. Page 939. It was 8 o'clock in the evening. Sri Ramakrishna was in the big hall. And page 938. Master Mahasaya said, one thinks a great deal before taking the money out. But once you said at Dakshineshwar that it is quite different if one is able to live in the world free from the three gunas. Master, yes, like a child. Yam said, yes sir, but it is exceedingly difficult. It requires tremendous power. Sri Ramakrishna remained silent. Yam said, yesterday they went to Dakshineshwar to meditate. I had a dream. Master asked, what did you dream? Yam said, I dreamt that Narendra and some others had become sannyasis. They were sitting around a lighted fire. I too was there. They were smoking tobacco and blowing out puffs of smoke. I told them that I could smell hemp. Master said, mental renunciation is the essential thing. That too makes one a sannyasi. Sri Ramakrishna kept silent a few minutes and then went on. Master said, but one must set fire to one's desires. Then alone can one succeed. Yam said, sir, you said to the Pandits of the Marwaris from Guru Bazar that you had the desire for bhakti. Isn't the desire for bhakti to be counted as a desire? Master said, no. Just as hinche greens are not to be counted as greens, hinche restrains the secretion of bile. Well, all my joy, all my ecstasy, where are they now? Yam said, perhaps you are now in the state of mind that the Gita describes as beyond the three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas, are performing their own functions, and you yourself are unattached even to sattva. Master said, yes, the Divine Mother has put me into the state of a child. Tell me, won't the body live through this illness? The Master and Yam became silent. Narendra entered the room. He was going home to settle his family affairs. Since his father's death, Narendra had been in great distress about his mother and brothers. Now and then they had been threatened with starvation. Narendra was a family's only hope. They expected him to earn money and feed them. But Narendra could not appear for his law examination. He was passing through a state of intense renunciation. He was going to Calcutta that day to make some provision for the family. A friend had agreed to lend him 100 rupees. that would take care of the family for 3 months. Narendra said, I am going home to Yam. He said, I shall visit Mahimacharan on the way. Will you come with me? Yam did not want to go. Looking at Yam, Sri Ramakrishna asked Narendra, why? Narendra said, I am going that way, so I shall stop at Mahima's place and have a chat with him. Sri Ramakrishna looked at Narendra intently. Narendra said, a friend who comes here said he would lend me 100 rupees. That would take care of the family for 3 months. I am going home to make that arrangement. Sri Ramakrishna remained silent and looked at Yam. Yam said to Narendra, no, you go ahead, I shall go later. It was 8 o'clock in the evening on Thursday, March 11, 1886. Sri Ramakrishna was in the big hall on the second floor. Narendra, Shashi, M, Sharat, and the elder Gopal were in the room. Sri Ramakrishna was lying down. Sharat stood by his bed and fanned him. The master was speaking about his illness. Master said, if some of you go to Dakshineshwar and see Bholanath, he will give you a medicinal oil and also tell you how to apply it. The elder Gopal said, then we shall go for the oil tomorrow morning. Yam said, if someone goes this evening, he can bring the oil. Shashi said, I can go. See, Shashi's devotion, Ramakrishna, who became Ramakrishna later on. He was ready to go immediately. Master pointing to Sharat, he may go. After time, Sharat set out for Dakshineshwar to get the oil from Bholanath. The devotees sitting around Sri Ramakrishna's bed were silent. Suddenly Master sat up. He spoke to Narendranath. Master said, Brahman is without taint. The three gunas are in Brahman, but it is itself untainted by them. You may find both good and bad smells in the air, but the air itself is unaffected. Shankaracharya was going along a street in Benares. An outcast carrying a load of meat suddenly touched him. What? Said Shankara. You have touched me? Revered sir, said the outcast. I have not touched you, nor have you touched me. The Atman is above all contamination, and you are the pure Atman. Of Brahman and Maya, the Jnani rejects Maya. Maya is like a veil, you see. I told this towel between you and the lamp. I hold this towel between you and the lamp. You no longer see the light of the lamp. Sri Ramakrishna put the towel between himself and the devotees. Master said, now you cannot see my face anymore. As Ram Prasad said, raise the curtain and behold. The Bhakta, however, does not ignore Maya. He worships Mahamaya. Taking refuge in her, he says, O mother, please stand aside from my path. Only if you step out of my way shall I have the knowledge of Brahman. The Jnanis explain away all three states, waking, dream, and deep sleep. But the Bhaktas accept them all. As long as there is the ego, everything else exists. So long as the I exists, the Bhakta says that it is God who has become Maya, the universe, the living beings, and the 24 cosmic principles. Narendra and the other devotees sat smiling. Narendra and the other devotees sat silently listening. Master said, but the theory of Maya is dry. To Narendra he said, repeat what I said. Narendra said, Maya is dry. Sri Ramakrishna affectionately stroked Narendra's face and hands and said, your face and hands show that you are a bhakta, but the jnani has different features. They are dry. Shall stop here. Do you have any questions to ask? No questions? Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup of knowledge of thyself. O self, drown deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step. bathing his name that brought for very souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue. The playthings of lust or the ties of fame, as many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the joy of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art the heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere, may all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous reign tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy, may the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear, may the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works be satisfied, for he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased, he being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.